Alright, it's time to start. I'm missing a third arm to be able to start the button and record at the same time, but bear with me. Okay, we're underway. So, today is going to probably be the least exciting part of the walk because, well, the day part of today, because it's just walking through the city, through kind of the suburbs, down to Cronulla. That's where I'm going to catch the wharf. I'm off to a good start, look at that. It's where I'm going to catch the ferry from the wharf and go across to Bundeena. From Bundeena, I'll start my night walk through the Royal National Park, and there's a bit of a detour I have to take within the park tonight because of various tracks being closed, but that's no drama. And the plan is, of course, to arrive into Wollongong sometime in the early to mid-morning tomorrow. That's part one of the walk. So I'm going to stop recording now because I hate recording around a lot of people, and they probably don't like it much either. But I'll keep checking in as we get underway. All right. I am walking the very wet streets of Bundeena after catching the ferry across from Cronulla, and it was about when I arrived at Cronulla, as you may or may not have seen depending on what footage you get shown. Cronulla's about when I got hit by rain, and wasn't a surprise. I knew it was going to be a wet walk, but doesn't mean that you really want that to happen. And I'd had such a nice day up until that point, sunny and beautiful, but the rain is well and truly here now. So I just walk these streets briefly and then I'll hit the Royal National Park, and that begins kind of the second portion of the three portions that make up this first 100 kilometres. The Royal National Park, it has a coastal track, stretches for about 30 odd k's thereabouts, so that's what I'll be taking, although about 2/3 of the way in I think there's some track closures, which means I have to divert and follow some inland fire trails. So I've got that all marked out, so that's no major problem. But then I'm always a little nervous when you hit fire trails because you never know what to expect in terms of things being overgrown and whatever. And with this weather, I really don't need any additional challenges. But anyway, we will try to make the most of it, and I'm sure you're all really jealous that you're not out walking in this wintry wet weather with me. Anyway, as usual, I've chosen the most boring visuals to talk alongside just a dark street. So I'm going to leave it there and try and check in with you in a little while. And stay dry in the meantime. Okay, so here we are on the trail now, and you can see there's a little map. So just where this little arrow points, that's where I am now. Just near Bundeena. And I'm going to make my way on this trail, or at least most of the trail, as I mentioned earlier, all the way until we hit Otford. And that's going to be, as I said, the second portion, so another 30 odd Ks of today's 100k walk. And starts with a bit of beach walking. Lovely, lovely. Beautiful night for it. Rain is still falling, but not too heavy, so no complaints. Something tells me I won't encounter too much traffic on this track tonight. Okay, I'm just about to head out to an area known as the balconies on the coastal track. The rain has eased a little, which is nice, but as you can probably see, there's still a bit of it around, but not nearly as bad as before, which is good. So the balconies is out on the coast. It's one of the landmarks on the coastal track, and so as soon as I hit that, I'll be on the cliffs, and I can start to follow the coast down to Otford, or at least until I have to turn off given the track closures. I didn't go all the way around Gibbon Head in the end, primarily because I could vaguely recall going there once before and doing a bit of rock scrambling, and given that the water was quite high, I really just wasn't willing to keep walking and find out if I was going to have to scramble over rocks, wet rocks in the rain with a high tide. Well, assuming it was a high tide. So better safe than sorry, I just came straight up to the track. Just a little shortcut, I suppose. But over 200 Ks, who's counting? Anyway, nearly at the coast now. Well, this is proving to be fun. The track is not terrible, but not great. It's quite overgrown in some places, and there are just like gigantic puddles everywhere to dodge. It's very wet, so it's kind of like a bit more of an obstacle course than just walking. I think it's going to be a long night. Well, I tried my very, very best to avoid this, but there's nowhere to cross where Marley's Creek joins the water, so I have to cross. And I don't know why I'm standing here talking about it, because my feet are freezing. And but yeah. And I had the pleasure of being watched the whole time by presumably a fox or something. I could see its little eyes watching me struggle to find a spot to cross. But other than being very cold and a real hassle to now dry my feet, desand them, etc., it's not a big deal. And actually, it's probably nice for my feet. But now I have to figure out my shoes, my socks, and hopefully there's not another water crossing. Ah dear, fun times.
A few moments later.
I have to take my shoes off again. Such a hassle. It's a hard life. Yeah, I'm gonna complain. What are you gonna do about it? Alright, well, yeah, there doesn't appear to be anywhere where I can just cross again here. Once again, I guess all the rain has really made this little river, creek, swell. It seems to be the narrowest point. I might... Oh, no, I don't think I can cross up there. Certainly not up there. You're just gonna have to take my word for it because you probably can't see a thing. Oh well, here we go again. I've just found some shelter at Guatemala Beach. You know, there's like picnic shelters and things here, so I'm taking a little rest under one of those. It's been a very wet, a very cold, wet night so far, and an interesting one, because I guess all the rain that we've had has meant that every creek that comes out to reach the ocean is swollen, and so that's meant that I've had to wade across 3 separate bodies of water. None of them particularly terrible. The last one here at Guatemala was a bit deeper, but yeah, I'm not a huge fan of taking my shoes off mid-walk, but it's one of those things that I put off as much as I can, but actually when I do it, it's nice, it's refreshing. So yeah, in the end, no complaints, but pretty wet on the outer layer and a little damp on the inner layer from working up a sweat, which is kind of the way these things go. So from here I veer in shortly. I don't go to Gary Beach and the Burning Palms loop because those tracks are closed. So fire trails for a while now, and then that should take me most of the way towards Otford. From Otford then I just pretty much follow the coast until I hit Wollongong, and that is part 1 of the journey done. So yeah, it's been good fun and challenging, and you know, all the things you'd expect from this kind of thing so far. My feet are not doing as well as I have previously. You know, I think of the last 100-kilometre walk, and I was practically blister free, and this time I got a few things percolating. So that's going to be fun later in the walk, and certainly part 2 when I do the second 100 kilometres. That's going to be a new challenge to deal with, I think. So anyway, that's a bit of an update. I wanted to check in, put my face to camera and say hello, and now I should probably keep moving because every second I sit here I get a little bit colder. So yeah, wish me luck for the rest. Alright, back on track. So I'm currently walking on Guatemala Road, and I just chose to walk up this road instead of continuing along the coastal track because a little bit further on is where I would have to veer off the coastal track anyway due to track closures, and then follow a fire trail up to, I think it's Sir Bertram Drive, whatever the main road is here through the national park, which is fine. It's kind of the same diff, but there was another 2 or maybe 3 creek crossings between there, or between Guatemala and the turnoff, and you know, it would be the 4th, 5th and 6th water crossing that I would have done tonight. But more importantly, if any of those happen to be too deep or too dangerous to cross, then that represents potentially a big backtrack. So just seemed like a wiser choice to follow this path up instead of taking that gamble, and it gets me to kind of where I need to be anyway. So a little bit of road walking for now, a bit more when I hit the main strip, and then I'll rejoin the track near the Burning Pines area. which means nothing to you if you don't know the track, but just know that I will rejoin it at some point. As you can see, still a bit of rain falling, but not, again, really bad at this point. It kind of comes and goes. So grateful for the times where it's gone, and just putting up with the times when it's present. It's gotten a little chilly now. Bit of fog to go with the rain. I am almost out of the Royal National Park. Couple more kilometres. And it's like I think that there's going to be sunshine and rainbows when I exit the national park. I'm going to be disappointed because the weather's going to be the same when I step out of the national park as it is inside the national park. But psychologically, it's a win to exit. So I'll stick with that. And who knows? Maybe I'll be surprised. Maybe it'll be beautiful weather out on the other side. So I'm very pleased to say that I have finally made it out of the Royal National Park. And that is part 2, or portion 2 of the 3 parts of today's walk done. So now it's just a case of getting to the gong, which I can actually see, but I'm not going to turn you into the rain because I don't want this to get too wet. But yeah, slowly getting there. So it's about 20 to 2 in the morning, and I'm now making my way through Otford. So obviously through the Royal National Park, coming out at Otford, and now I'm just going to start making my way down to the coast, and then really just follow that all the way to Wollongong. Still doing pretty well. My feet are a little tired, various spots on them feeling less than optimal, but that's okay. It shouldn't be any major cause for concern. So yeah, going okay. In a few hours the sun will come up, and hopefully that will grant me a little bit of warmth, but it will grant me some energy, as it always does, having the sun come up for that final approach to Wollongong. So it's been a very wet, a very cold and quite an arduous evening. And I'm speaking like it's done. It's certainly not done yet. But I have enjoyed the challenge, and that's the thing when you tackle a route that's 100 kilometres, you're bound to come across something. You know, whether it's injury, whether it's obstacles in the path, you know, the list goes on. But that's all my brain can offer me right now. So yeah, there's always an experience or two. Alright, I'm going to put you back away for now and keep stomping it out in the dark. So it's about 3 in the morning, maybe a little after, and I'm now making my way across the spectacular Seacliff Bridge. At least it is spectacular if you can see anything, which you can't right now. Yeah. There's ocean out that way. Yeah. But at least it's a nice easy path to walk, which is good because I'm certainly feeling the about 70 odd Ks that I've done so far. And yeah, just really hanging out for some sunlight and maybe a bite to eat, a warm bite to eat when things start to open, but that's a ways away yet. I'm going through Scarborough and I'm pretty cold by this point. It's pretty exposed to the wind from the ocean here, and I'm still pretty wet from the Royal National Park, and it's just generally pretty cold, so I'm pretty cold. And I guess I'm pretty worn down too, but desperate times, desperate measures, pulling out the big guns. Got the Allen's party mix, and I'm expecting good things. I'm expecting some Allen's power to help get me through this last 20 odd Ks. Come on, Allen's. I need your help, come on. Ah dear. Slowly but surely getting there, but yeah, definitely feeling it now. And I was really hanging out for a place just to sit for a few seconds, and found one finally, and they were a glorious few seconds, but then when I had to try and get moving again, yeah, it reminded me why you try not to stop. So from here on in, I'm on my feet until I finish. That's the plan anyway. Well, I'm not gonna lie, that last little bit of darkness this morning, those last few hours, they were tough. They were really tough. You know what they say, it's darkest before the dawn, and bloody hell, that applies to walking too. I've just managed to have a bite and a warm drink, and I really needed both of those. I'm pretty cold after last night, and yeah, I just wanted something warm, so I've had that now and starting to feel a little human again. I have about 2 hours left to Wollongong. It's beautiful here right now, but as you can see, there's some pretty dark clouds about, so I might get a little bit more rain, so I'm gonna get my skates on now and try to get there and have a warm shower. Alright, last little bit, here we go. How's that for a pretty decent rainbow? Pot of gold so close you can almost smell it. Somebody's got a rainbow in their backyard and they don't even know it. I'm just doing the last little stretch before arriving in Wollongong. This is just some parklands on the outskirts of the city. So very nearly there, and very glad for that fact because I am knackered. I'm very much ready for a rest. It's been a a really long walk and very slow. This last 20 odd kilometres, very, very slow, so it's just drawn the whole thing out. But nearly there now, and wish I had his energy. But nope, I am crawling along like a snail. Oh, little jump over the puddle. Ah dear. Did I say I'm knackered? I'm knackered. But nearly there, so looking forward to hitting that finish line. I'm past dead. This last like 20 k's has been so slow. I'm crawling like a snail. I just want it to end. Yeah, I think last night took a lot out of me. The terrain and the weather and all of that, and it being cold for hours. I think it really just wore me down. So very eager to get to the hotel. Very, very eager. Well, as you can plainly see, I have made it to my hotel room for the night. And that's pretty much all I have to say right now, because I am just going to collapse, and I thought I should at least let you know that I got here before I do that. So I'll do a little recording later on and have a bit of a debrief, if you like, of the walk, but for now I am just going to lay down on that bed and not move for a while. I genuinely feel now that if I walked, I would do, well, I simply wouldn't make it, but I would potentially do lasting injury, because my feet are, yeah, they're blistered up really badly, which is one thing, but I can barely put any weight on my heels at the moment. So, yeah, I guess it has to be the shoes, because, yeah, I've done those distances before, and my feet haven't been this bad, so yeah, I think they were a bit rough, so that's not ideal. I mean, yeah, when you're talking about 100 k's, like, small differences matter, and I think they're comfortable enough with that extra insole, but then they make my feet blister because there's not enough room to move in them. So it's like a catch-22. So yeah, we'll see. But no, I'm gonna have an extra day's rest here, and then Thursday leave. And maybe by that point I'll be like, oh, I kind of, I could walk and get there Friday, But I genuinely don't think my feet will be even close to ready for that. I think that they're going to take probably a few days at a minimum to recover. But we'll see. But no, I'm extremely, extremely doubtful that I'll walk anymore. I think that's that ship has sailed. So you may be wondering why you haven't heard from me so far today, considering that I should be out on the trail again, completing the second part of my 200 kilometre journey to Jervis Bay. The reason that I am clearly not back out on the trail is that upon completing the first 100, which was Sydney to Wollongong yesterday, I arrived in Wollongong barely being able to walk, and that's not an exaggeration. I could barely walk. My feet were completely annihilated from the previous evening's walking. In a nutshell, I think that was a combination of new boots, which is always a cardinal sin to wear new shoes on a walk, but nevertheless that's the way things panned out. And also probably the slightly more demanding terrain of the Royal National Park, particularly in the sort of weather. I think I had 12 hours straight of rain, varying intensity, but rain the whole time, and at some stages so heavy that I don't think it could have gotten much heavier. And so what that's meant is the state that my particularly feet are in right now is just not compatible to doing additional walking, especially when you're talking about what will probably end up being about 110 kilometres from here to Jervis Bay. So in the hours since arriving into Wollongong, my position on doing part 2 has been absolutely no chance. And my wife did say just to give it some time, see how I feel, because knowing me, I might decide that I want to tackle it still. And it turns out that maybe she knows me pretty well, because as the hours are passing, I am bouncing back a little bit, and now I'm considering whether there is a way to continue the walk. Now that's not a simple thing. As I said, it's 110 kilometres to Jervis Bay, and I have pretty much decided that that's absolutely out of the picture. I'm not going to walk that distance. I just don't think that that's practical at this stage. But I do have to get to Jervis Bay. I didn't just pick it as a random destination. There is a reason that I have to get there, and I have to be there for the weekend, and I have to be alive for the weekend. I can't arrive dead like I did in Wollongong. So I'm working on that plan. I've got an idea, but I won't go into detail on that now. For the moment, my focus is on just trying to recover enough so that maybe I'm in a position to tackle a walk tomorrow morning. What that means is feeding myself well, resting well, and so far I've burst about 7 blisters, so I've got to give them some time to recover as well, and then see if I'm ready to tackle another portion. So wish me luck for a bit of recovery, because you set a goal to do a walk. I want to achieve that goal. Regardless, it's not going to be the full path that I had set out, but if I'm lucky enough, it's going to be the vast majority of it. So we'll see. That's my update for now. And yeah, wish me luck. Wish me good recovery energy so that I can tackle this next portion. I'm just going to do the best that I can today, and we'll see how I go.